Please welcome to the stage the host of the Regular Joe Show, Joe Giganti,
I'm
and
not Joe,
Communications Director of the American Conservative Union, Ian Walters.
Hey, thank you, Paul. You know, Matt Schlapp said this wonderful thing when he came out at the top of the day, and how nice it is to be out of the swamp, how nice it is to be out here in Green Bay, Wisconsin, hanging out with conservative activists that do something special that is tough to come by in D.C., that live their values. Joe, over here to my right, how many of you guys know Joe in the morning, Regular Joe? Joe grew up in Washington, D.C. We got to know each other in Washington, D.C. I think of him as an old friend, mostly because his birthday was yesterday and he's old.
And I went to the better high school.
We're DC natives, and I wanted to bring him up on stage so that he could talk a little bit about the difference between DC and Green Bay, Wisconsin, and how. I'll put it this way: one of the reasons I admire him and have for almost 20 years is that he lives his conservative values. He's a talented talker, but there are a lot of talented talkers in Washington, D.C. who don't live the lifestyle. He's committed to the conservative values that we share. It's not just talk. Please, a nice round of applause for Green Bay's own Joe Giganti.
Good afternoon. I'm so used to doing a morning show. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, and thank you, Ian. It's true. Yesterday, my boss was down here checking the venue, and he came back. He goes, "I didn't realize you and Ian went back so far." I said, "Careful how you're saying it. I'm not that old yet." So, no, I appreciate you. I told Ian we got together Wednesday when they arrived that I escaped Washington is really what it was. I mean, I'm a native of Washington, D.C., have been here since 2007, and I actually know my neighbors for the first time in my adult life. I know who my neighbors are. You get to meet people that have real values, that things that count. And I know Brandon talked about this a little earlier. One of the things we talked about was courage. And that's something we talk about on my show each day, which, by the way, for those that don't know, it's here in Green Bay on WTAQ Monday through Friday from 8:40 to 11. And then from 9 to 11, it's on 5 other stations, 5 other signals around Wisconsin. We cover 3/4 of the state with WHBL and WSAU. And one of the lines I use often is live life boldly. And I tie that back to what Brandon said. I heard Corey earlier as well. It really is a time where we have to live life boldly. If you hear that voice that says you need to speak up, you might want to speak up. Now, this is an important part, though, the tactics of it all. You know, another thing I always say is we have to be informed in order to get involved. We are fighting against people that are driven by emotion. They don't have a lot of logic and reason. I'm not trying to be mean, but when you hear things like, give your house to these people because you're white and they're black, they should have your house, there's not a lot of logic. And that just happened in Seattle last night. So, but you have to understand the emotion that they're coming at you with, and then you can counter it. It's like judo. You take their emotion, move it against them. I think that's judo or karate or one of those martial arts. It works really well when you do it. But then you need those facts to be able to hit them hard with the facts, get them to realize what's happening, because we have the greatest asset, which is truth. And in terms of the boldness, the great president, the greatest president of the 20th century, Ronald Reagan, when he said, raise a banner, no pale pastels, but bold colors which make it clear all of the things that matter, where we stand on those, and we've got that. We have the great asset of truth. We just have to speak it clearly, not get dragged down into the emotion, and stand our ground. Here in Wisconsin, we have one-term Tony, Governor Skeletor himself, who is doing his best. He does look like him. He's kind of yellow, too. Anyway, but, the fact of the matter is he's trying to pull us as far left as humanly possible. And now it's just a masking mandate. And now it's just this. And he keeps saying words like, well, we want to let you go back to work. We want to let your children. That's not his decision. That's not in his power. And we have to stop sitting back and saying, okay, thank you. We have to sit there and stand up and say enough. One thing to absolutely never forget, we are a republic. every elected official and their bureaucratic staff work for us. We are the sovereigns. We are the bosses. If they won't do their job, then we fire them and find the ones that will. And that's what we have to do this November as well. Thank you all very much. Ian, God bless always, man, my friend.
Joe Giganti, ladies and gentlemen. Just by coming here today, I'm so proud to stand with you, to stand with Joe. You are exhibiting a great deal of courage by getting out of your house, by getting up, by getting online and picking up that ticket and coming out here and standing with one another. And that's what we need to make go viral. That's what we need. We need a pandemic of courage in this country, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you for being here and being a part of it. We're going to serve lunch. We have lunch for you in the back corner of the room over there. I think that's the north side of the Automobile Museum here.
I didn't do well in map reading, but that's okay. It's that way.
Ham, turkey sandwiches. Feel free to take one. All I would ask is that try to remember where you're sitting. We're going to try to have people sit in the same seats that you had this morning. So that's your seat for the day, by and large. Thank you for being here, and we'll get started right again after lunch. Thank you.
See y'all later. Have a great day.